Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to episode 15 of JK Storytells podcast. Today I have someone who's a real inspiration to me, to people like me all over the world. Paul Getter, the internet marketing nerd, someone who worked with Gary Vee, with Grant Cardone, Ty Lopez, and all these people on social media, internet marketing, and building an actual audience. Paul, welcome to this amazing podcast. And I really want to kick it off by you just introducing yourself all over again and sharing your amazing story.
Gene, thank you very much for having me here. Sounds like you're doing amazing things yourself, and it's my privilege to be here and talk to your audience and share a little bit about what I'm doing. Yeah, like you said, man, I've had the privilege of working with some of the top entrepreneurs online, guys like Ty Lopez, Grant Cardone, Bob Proctor, Les Brown, and A-list celebrities, Fortune 500 companies, and it's just been a blessing to work with some amazing people. And but it wasn't always like that. Years ago, I was delivering phone books and making $50 a night, and so I've just been blessed to experience success and had the privilege of working with some amazing people.
Yeah, man, this is amazing. This is truly amazing. And to see where you were before, years behind, where you are now, this
Yeah,
is truly inspiring. And I just want to tell you something that I believe in, but I did not reach yet. And just tell me if you actually agree that success itself is the actual journey and not just a point you get to.
absolutely. Yeah, it's I think when you think you've succeeded, you always start like, well, hey, there's more. You know
Yeah,
what I
what
mean?
comes
And
next?
yeah,
Yeah,
what comes next? And
yeah,
I know for many entrepreneurs, it's kind of like, okay, you hit this level, and you're like, okay, I want to go more. I want
yeah,
to experience more. But and then you can't allow other people to define what success is for you.
it's
You know,
very
because
individual.
yeah,
Yeah,
because making a certain amount of money, that may not be success for other people. And I think success has multiple layers. It's more than just how much money you make or what type of job you have. But I know a lot of people that have um, a lot of money, nice cars, and nice home, but they're not happy. You know what I
yeah,
mean? That's
yeah.
not successful to me.
Yeah, true. It all depends on each person how he or she views his success.
Exactly.
And that does not make any different person more or less successful than the other.
Exactly.
And Paul, I was reading about your story actually, and I knew that early on in your career, maybe at a certain point, you were rejected by a CEO because he did not believe in what you were selling or what you were doing. Then
Yeah.
you created an ad that specifically targeted him.
Yeah.
Can
Yeah.
you please just shed some light on this?
Yeah, so this is actually one of my first big clients where it was a six-figure or maybe even a seven-figure client. And
Yeah,
I here we have XM radio, satellite radio, and I heard this company was advertising over and over again. I kept hearing their ad, and they at the end of it they would say, "Go to our website," and they had their website. And I went to their website. I'm like, their website was horrible. I mean, it was
yeah,
like it was
yeah,
done wrong and just everything. So I thought, okay, they're spending all this money on radio advertisement. I actually called up the radio company. I said, how much is it for a 1 minute ad on your radio program? And they said it was like $2,000. And I knew this company was doing it at least 2 or 3 times a day. So they were spending $6,000, $7,000 a day on these
yeah,
radio ads, and they had a horrible website. So I decided to reach out to them and say, hey, let me help you out. And I found the CEO on Facebook, sent him a message, what I do and everything. And he responded back to me. He was like, hey, we do it old school. Or we do the
yeah,
radio.
yeah,
It's working good for us. And I thought, well, okay, he wouldn't listen to me, wouldn't give me attention. And
yeah,
so I went to his Facebook profile. I found a picture of him. He was with his family at Disney World, and he was wearing this really funny hat and everything. And then just by looking at his Facebook profile, I found out, his birthday. I found out where he lived. I found out, his marital status, kids. You can just look at a person's
yeah,
Facebook
yeah,
profile and you can
definitely.
see a lot of stuff. So I took that funny looking picture and I made an ad and I put his name on it, and it said, "Hey Brett, this is Paul. We need to talk about your marketing."
Yeah,
And so I don't know, a day or two later, of course, that pops up on his timeline. And he sends me a message. He's like, "Hey, Paul." And he sends me a screenshot of that ad. He said, "Hey, Paul, this is really creepy, but we need to talk." And,
Yeah, yeah.
and so from there, he became one of our clients.
This is crazy. This is crazy story actually, and it's like you knew what you were gonna do because you got this rejection, and you
Yeah.
did not stop there. You know, it could have been very easy for you just quit and say, okay, it's not working. I'm gonna move on.
Yeah,
But you didn't. Yeah,
yeah, a lot of times, like I didn't even really see that as rejection. I just saw it as I didn't prove it to him. You know what I
yeah,
mean? So
yeah,
it's kind of like, well, just talking to him in Facebook Messenger about what I can do didn't really prove to him what I could do. So when I made that ad, that was proving it to him.
yeah,
And so yeah, a lot of times rejection is not really the person saying no. They're really saying, can you explain it to me better? Or
yeah.
I'm not really convinced. It's not like, no, go away. It's just like,
Yeah.
you haven't really proved it to me yet. And so I just took that as an opportunity to prove it to him.
Yeah, I kind of agree, but I just want to ask, how can we differentiate between a final no and a certain opportunity where we can just try to sell again or try to present ourselves again?
So when I was about uh, 15 years old, I did telemarketing.
Yeah,
Where you call people up and you sell them stuff over the phone. No, that is like the worst job in the world.
yeah,
Nobody says, "Hey, when I grow up, I want to be a telemarketer." It's like,
yeah,
but
hundreds and hundreds of phone calls a day.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. And so I remember one of my supervisors, he told me this. He's like, if a person hasn't told you no 7 or 8 times, it doesn't mean no. And so I would like, play a game with myself. And it
yeah,
almost like, okay, they told me no. And I would like ask them the same question, but a different way. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
And I became one of the top salespersons, and I was 15, 16 years old, and I was working with adults, but I became one of the top salespersons because I would like take no over and over, and I would tell myself, okay, after the seventh or eighth no,
I'm gonna stop.
yeah. So you would have people that they would say yes, they would say no 6 or 7 times, but on the eighth time, like, okay, let me give it a try. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
yeah. But
so
it's a fine line between actually being really good with it, taking the nose and getting back to the sale, and being just clingy and annoying. It's
yeah,
a
yeah,
fine line.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's for sure. So it is something that uh, I think one of the things I learned is you have to figure out, say for example, if you're doing 20 sales calls, I knew that 15 people would say no. They would like final no.
yeah,
Uh, but that 16th person, they might say yes. So it's just kind of like, if you know your numbers, I'll give you an example. In ads, uh, the average, like a good ad will convert 7%. 7%.
yeah,
So what that means is 93 people out of 100 said no, but 7 people said yes. We don't look at it that way. We just like click through rate,
yeah, yeah,
conversion rate, but very rarely do you have an ad or something like that that converts at a high percent. Normally it's 10% or less conversions on funnels and sales, but and we will brag about that, like, hey, those are good numbers, but
yeah,
really it
yeah,
means 90% people said no. So
yeah,
so
yeah,
just
man.
finding that small percent that'll say yes will make you a lot of money.
Yeah, true, true. It's just focusing on the deals that you actually close and not just dwell on the ones that you can get.
Yeah.
And speaking of that, can you walk me through the difference of closing a small deal and actually closing a high ticket sale, like for example, Grant Cardone, Ty Lopez, and these people? Is it the same thing on a different scale, or is it a totally different approach?
Yeah. So so I guess the question is like, how do you close a big client?
Yeah, for example. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I think it is, um, you do when you initially get started, that first, 2 or 3 big clients,
Yeah.
they always have the advantage. You know what I mean? Because they are big names and you're coming to them, maybe someone that they don't know, they've never heard of. And so, my first couple big clients, like I worked with Kevin Hart, the
Yeah.
comedian.
Yeah.
Uh, how I secured that deal is, when we were making a proposal for him, we're like, hey, we're going to build this website, we're going to do these products, and all of this, and we're talking to them and his management and his team, and they say to us, well, how much are you going to charge? For me to secure that deal, my proposal was this: hey, we will do this for free. We're not going to charge you anything, but we want 30% of the profits that we generate for you. So what that did is that put a responsibility on us to deliver results.
Yeah.
If we didn't make them money, we weren't making money. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
there was no risk for him on a deal like that. It was like, and they said yes to it. And he told me, he said, the last guy that built us a website and did what you did wanted to charge us, or did charge them, over $100,000 to do that.
Yeah.
And then they left them and they didn't deliver any results. So I looked at it, hey, if I could make money with them and just get a small percentage of whatever we generated, then there's no risk for them, but I have to deliver results. So that's initially when getting high profile clients, that's how I do it. As your reputation grows and you've got the experience, then it's kind of like they see you on their same level. Then you don't necessarily have to negotiate that way. But to initially get big clients like that, it is, you have to put the risk on you.
Yeah, true. And you have to make them feel that you actually want them to make money, because that's how you're gonna make money.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, definitely. And in order for you to actually reach this point and get to a place where, for example, people reach out to you and not the other way around, you had to go through a lot of failures. And can you just elaborate on a failure that taught you a lot, that you took it as a real big lesson?
Yeah. So I've done a lot of people just see internet marketing, Facebook ads, Instagram ads, and that, and know me from that. But I when I first got started on making money online, I did a lot of different things. And a lot of times entrepreneurs, they'll tell you about how I made 6 figures in 60 days. I can tell you how I lost 6 figures in 6 weeks.
This
what I
is
mean?
what we want to know, man. This is where we actually learn.
Yeah. So yeah, I've lost a couple $100,000 in a month.
Damn.
Yeah. So again, entrepreneurs, the gurus aren't going to tell you that. They're like, how I made, $200,000 in 2 weeks. Those successes happen. Yes. And I've been fortunate that I've made big money in a short period of time. But, so one of the things that we used to do is we would build these viral websites. It's kind of like those websites where you've got 20 pictures of famous people and really we call them clickbait type stories. So we used to build these websites, and how it generated revenue is you had different ads. You had multiple ads on these websites. And so what we did is we built these websites that we knew, okay, if a person would visit this website and just go through a couple pages, that we would make on the average of 5 to 10 cents per visitor. So what we would do is we would go on Facebook and other ad platforms, and we would make ads that we knew it would cost us 2 to 3 cents
Yeah.
to get a click to our website. And then if a person would go to the website, we would make 5 or 6 cents. So you see, we called it ad arbitrage. So we're
Yeah.
buying clicks for 2 to 3 cents on Facebook, and the ads that were on the website, we made 6 cents. So we were doubling our money. Well, here's the challenge with this is on these ad platforms, you get paid every 30 days. And the ads that we would spend on Facebook, let's say in January, I would spend $100,000 in ads on Facebook in January, but I knew in February that I would get $200,000. And so I would keep spending it, but I would get paid the end of February. Well, one time what happened is for some reason, the way the ads were set up on these websites, it violated the ad platform's policies. So we're spending $100,000 on Facebook and then expecting to get $200,000 from the ad platforms the next month. Our account got shut down
After you paid?
after we paid.
Damn, man. And
Yeah,
there's
so
no way you can get it back.
there's no way you can get it back. It's,
Damn, man.
it's
Damn.
gone.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So one of the things that I learned in that is it's very important to have diversified streams of revenue. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When that was gone. It was like 2 or 3 months trying to figure out what's the next step. So to have diversified streams of income is very, very important. Don't have all your eggs in one basket.
Yeah, definitely. And speaking of this, you're not a fake guru. You're not one of these people who just sell stuff to sell stuff and just disappear after a year or two because you scammed 100 people.
Right.
You're here for a lot of time. So, which means you're a real person and you do real things and deliver real results.
Absolutely.
So, with that, what are some values that you have with running your business or dealing with clients that we can learn from?
Yeah, well, that's if you follow me on Instagram, you'll see I say stuff like this. It's relationships before revenue.
Yeah.
It's people before profits. So when and like, for example, most big businesses, if you have this type of mindset, you will be successful. When you first get started in a business, it's kind of like, man, I want to make money. I want to make money.
Definitely.
And you that's normal. You know, it's like, hey,
It's the initial point of the business.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so it's very money driven. How can I make money and stuff? But there comes a point where you have to have it in place where I want to help people is my main focus. You know what I mean? I want to help people.
Yeah.
And here's what you have to understand. If you help people, money will come. You know what I mean? If you just want, if you help people. So, for example, this COVID crisis that we're in, I work with a lot of businesses, coach, have clients and stuff. And I have businesses that reach out to me like, Paul, what are we going to do now? What this has changed everything. And my advice to them is like, just help people. Just help people. You might have to change the way that you're helping people, but just help people and the money will come. So if you make that as like one of your core values, helping people, then money will come. It may not, like when I first got started, I was doing a lot of stuff, just quick money. You know what I mean? But a lot of times quick money can disappear as quick as it comes.
Yeah,
So
true.
when you make helping people, that's more about a brand. It's more about a business. It's about a long-term investment.
Yeah, this is totally true. And actually, it comes to something I learned as well, that you serve first, you get paid later. You don't worry about this.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, true. This is a key aspect of being authentic, being true to yourself before actually being true to other people.
Exactly.
And speaking of social media and marketing and this whole world of where there are a lot of gurus and a lot of things, what are the first steps to actually have a real presence on social media and become some sort of a reference to whatever field or topics someone wants?
Yeah, so it's about content, really. Putting out quality content and being consistent.
Yeah,
Uh, so I call it the 3 C's. So it's the type of content you put out. So you got to be putting out content and make sure that it's good
yeah,
quality, and then consistent. You got to be consistent on it, and that's tough because a lot of times people will go in spurts, like, I'll do a little bit of content and then they stop,
yeah,
a little bit of content and they stop. But if you just be consistent on it, uh and sometimes that's difficult because people, they'll start like, how many likes do I have, how many followers do I
yeah,
have?
yeah. They
They'll get discouraged.
numbers and yeah, yeah,
Yeah, and they'll stop. So, but you just have to be consistent. Just keep on doing it. Don't get stuck on the numbers. And then number 3 is caring. When you put that care into people, it's like people think it's strange, but people message me. Granted, I have a good team of people, assistants in my DMs that help me, but I still have real conversations with
yeah,
people. Sometimes I will follow people that I don't know. They might only have 2,000 followers, but I like their content. I'll send them a message. I'll send a video, and I comment on other people's posts, and I don't care how many followers a person has. If they have good content, they don't have to be verified. They don't have to have a million followers. If I like your content, I'm going to like it and I'm going to comment. And so in my mind, I'll tell people this. They'll send me a message. I can't believe you commented on my post. You like my
yeah,
post.
yeah,
I'm like, I treat everybody like they have a million followers and they're verified. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Because
yeah, yeah.
who cares about those numbers? How many followers you have and a blue check mark does not define who you are. So yeah, I mean, it's just, you care. You're just a real person. Don't like, oh yeah, I've got million followers and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that's stupid. That's stupid.
Yeah, true, true. We have to be genuine. We're all humans after all, it's just a platform.
Yeah.
And and speaking of this presence on social media and people creating content, is there a certain time where monetization is good, or we should always wait for it to happen automatically and someone to just sponsor us or try to close a deal with us? Or should we start our social media having in mind that we will monetize it? How will it happen?
Yeah, so I think it is important to start out with a strategy to monetize. Have in your mind the methods that you want to monetize. Have that in mind, because I don't think you want to start out like pretending like, okay, I'm not going to monetize it, and then all of a
Yeah,
sudden, like, surprise, I'm going to sell you something. Because,
yeah, yeah,
but if you can consistently just good content, and then maybe testimonials, or hey, if you want to set up a call or whatever your product or your service is, you do that occasionally. Obviously, you want to have a balance. You don't want it to be just,
strictly sales.
yeah,
Yeah,
sales, sales,
yeah,
sales. You want to do value, 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 sales, value, 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 sales. You know what I
yeah.
mean? A balance in it. But I think starting out in mind how you want to monetize it is important to recognize in the beginning.
Yeah, definitely. This is actually really valuable advice. And Paul, I wanted to ask you, if we want to go back again with your timeline, why did you choose this world of social media, internet marketing, websites, and everything that you do now? Was it something that you randomly just that worked for you and you said, okay, this is working for me, I'm gonna do it? Was it completely by choice, or was it just something that made you a lot of money?
Yeah, so that's a great question, because a lot of times people like, follow your passion and you'll make money.
Yeah, yeah,
That's not always true. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah.
so I would say number one, when, how old are you?
I'm 21.
Okay, so when I was 21, there was
Yeah,
no internet. So
yeah,
when I grew up, I did not say I want to be an internet marketer, because there was no internet. So, which makes me sound like I'm very, very old, but that's the truth. Internet, it wasn't until I was out of college and stuff that internet became more popular. So it was one of those things. A friend of mine told me, hey, you need to get on Facebook. This is when Facebook first started.
Yeah.
And granted, I always kind of had a techie nerd background. Like I liked computers, I liked gadgets, I liked science and stuff. So the internet did interest me, and making websites and stuff, I thought that was cool, but I never really saw it as an opportunity to make money, because I worked so many different jobs. Man, I worked everything from McDonald's to building roofs on houses. You know what I mean? So I did everything. But when I started playing around with Facebook, I did see that there was an opportunity for businesses to use it as a platform. Understand that when Facebook first came out, businesses weren't using it. It was more of a game. It was more of just like a social platform. It wasn't used for marketing. But I quickly saw opportunities for businesses to get the message out. And I was making very little money. It was like I would set up a Facebook account for a restaurant, and they would pay me, $40 a month to manage their Facebook. But then I just kind of saw it as an opportunity, and then it just kind of, I grew into it. I mean, like, I like doing it. It is.
You're still enjoying it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's what matters. Yeah, true. And Paul, since we're running out of time, I still have one last question.
Sure.
Since you actually made it from scratch, you build yourself up. You were not raised into a millionaire family or whatsoever. You made yourself. And what advice can you give to us Lebanese people who are struggling with crisis over crisis over crisis now, with people trying to change their dreams no matter what? What advice can you give us?
Yeah, so that, the beautiful thing about the internet is your geographical location has nothing to do with your success. One of my first coaching students that I had, he was 17 years old in high school. He was learning how to do email marketing, and I helped coach him. At 17 years old in high school, he was making $100,000, and he was in Greece. He was in Greece.
Yeah.
The country was bankrupt. They had locks on their bank accounts where they could only get $100 out.
It's the same thing here now. It's the same thing here.
Yeah. And so he was making $100,000 a month. Of course, he was like, had connections with people outside of Greece where he could have his accounts and everything like that. I better not tell too much on him or he'd get in trouble. But I remember I asked him, I said, Jim, you're 17 years old. You're making $100,000 a year. I said, how do your friends at school feel about this? He's like, nobody knows. I said, I wouldn't tell anybody because everybody would run to me, want money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, but it taught me something. And I've seen this. I've seen people in South America that are making great money. And it's one of those things. If you get a skill, whether it is learning how to make Facebook ads, copywriting, building funnels, and you become really good at it, it doesn't matter what country you're in. If you have a marketable skill, it doesn't matter. So, that's the advice I give someone. If they're wanting to be successful online, put a lot of work, man. There was nights I was doing working 20 hours a day, sleeping 4 hours a night to learn my skill set. And so if anybody, regardless of what country you're in, there's a lot of free teaching out there on the internet. There's free courses. So you don't have to have money. You can just really immerse yourself into it and become the best. And then, like I said, find people and say, hey, I'll do your stuff for free. Just give me a percentage of profit. And then, you have to be good at what you do. You have to work hard. You have to, but your geographical location doesn't have to stop you from being successful.
Yeah, this is amazing, Paul. Thank you so much for this amazing, valuable podcast, for giving me your time. Guys, if you want to check Paul out, you'll find his social media in the description. Thank you so much again, Paul. It was amazing to have you here.
Hey, Gene, you're awesome. I appreciate you interviewing me, and stay in touch, man.
Definitely, definitely. I will, man.
All right. Have a great day.
You too. Bye.